Well, hey guys, my name is Brandon Lowe, and I'm the new owner here at Squadron. And as many of you probably know, and some of you might not, Squadron has moved from Texas. We are now in Ellijay, Georgia, and that happened a little over a year ago. And there's quite a lot to talk about, and I'm sure we'll get to it either today or in another future stream. I'm hoping to start doing this every week, sometimes maybe more than once a week, depending on what we've got going on here. We'll just have to wait and see how it goes. Anyway, I don't really have a set plan of what to talk about today. We've got several new kits that we can talk about. I know a lot of people are going to want to know some of the history of how did we get to Georgia? Who am I? Um, who else do we have here? And we can certainly talk about some of that stuff and just see how this goes. Feel free to ask questions in the live chat. I'll get to them if I can. I should be able to. In future streams, what I'm hoping is I can walk around in the warehouse, show you what we've got going on. If you've got questions about a specific model kit, it would even be cool if you would ask, and I can grab the kit, bring it in here, and we can check it out together. You'll see here I've got a desk set up over here where we can look at models, we can review them, and actually next week we've already got a stream plan where I've got a couple of guests coming on with me, and this new USS Atlanta kit from Verifier, we're going to go through that together. They've got a copy. I've got this one here. We've got some of the old resin model kits that were available of that years ago. We're going to open it up, compare it, do I don't know, a relatively in-depth review of the kit, and kind of see what it's got going on. It's been a very, I guess you could say, long time coming for this model, and specifically with Verifier doing it. They announced it several years ago. The company went out of business. They're back in business. Um, just a lot to talk about with that. But anyway, we'll get to all that. But for now, we'll just hang out for a minute and talk about Squadron. If anybody's got any questions, again, feel free to put it in the live chat, and we'll go from there. So a lot of people want to know, how did we get to Georgia? So in January of 2021, the Squadron and MMD in Texas, they filed bankruptcy, and they pretty much almost overnight, as far as the public was concerned, were out of business. In business one day, and the next day they're gone. And everything that they had, all the assets, were liquidated at an auction. And a friend of ours named Chris Decker actually went to the auction, and he purchased everything. He won the auction, he got it, and he moved it to Atlanta, Georgia, where he lives. And we've known Chris for a long time. Back in, I guess it was 2006, I think it was. Chris Decker owned and ran a online hobby store called Trident Hobbies. And back in 2006, he started it before then, but in 2006, he decided to sell it because he had started manufacturing resin ship models under the name of Yankee Model Works. And he decided that he was going to do that, and he wanted to get rid of the retail website. Wholesale was what he was going to focus on with his manufacturing. So my dad, Russ Lowe, and myself, we purchased Trident Hobbies from him, and that was in 2006. And for a while, he was in North Carolina, and so we moved it to Georgia, and we ran that for a while. Uh, Shortly after that, we started buying other, small companies, and then in 2010, we made a deal with a man named Bill Gruner, and he owned a store that a lot of people remember, if you're a ship modeler, called PacificFront.com. So we bought that and moved that here and kind of combined that with Free Time Hobbies. And that was a really good thing for us. It really, really, I guess put us on the map, so to speak, for being a dealer of ship models. And uh, I guess it was shortly after that we came up with the name brand called Blue Ridge Models, and we started manufacturing our own stuff. Shortly after that, the the Yankee Model Works that I had mentioned, um, that came up for sale. We bought that, added to it, and started making resin ships, which also included midship models, another name brand that many ship modelers may remember. So we got into this habit of, buying up companies, I guess, and it was a lot of fun. We had a big store, retail store in Blue Ridge, Georgia, and sometime in one of the future streams, I'll show you some pictures of that. It was a pretty cool store. We had this giant that stood outside, and at the time, he held a huge, I don't know what scale it was. It was a remote control, one of those big planes. It was a P 51, and you could see it from the highway driving by. He just stood out there holding the plane, and it was really neat. And we had a lot of fun. Met a lot of good people, a lot of good friends that are still friends, still customers. And fast forward to, I guess it was 2019, I guess it was, maybe 18 or 19. My oldest son, who was 6 at the time, got interested in racing motocross dirt bikes and little 50cc bikes. And I found myself at the racetrack, every weekend. And we were having a lot of fun. He was out there with all the other kids, just having a great time. And I got interested in doing motocross graphics, designing them, printing them, selling them. And one thing led to another, and I got involved in a business doing that, which led to the decision for us to sell Free Time Hobbies. And so we did. We sold it to a guy named Thompson, and he moved Free Time Hobbies, left Georgia, and went back to North Carolina. I say back to, that's where Trident Models came from. And that happened, and I just focused on making graphics for a while. And then we bring ourselves back to 2021 when Chris Decker had bought Squadron at auction in Texas. He moved it to Georgia. He's got another business. He's had another business another hobby business that he sells online in various locations. And his plan was to, of course, combine that with his other business. And uh, he he decided that, as you know, Squadron and MMD were together in Texas, and he needed help to run the MMD side, to import products, to distribute products to the hobby shops around the country. And he approached my dad, Russ, about doing that, about running the MMD side. And because we had recently sold Free Time Hobbies, he was kind of in a non-compete agreement to stay out of the hobby business. Well, a lot of uh, negotiations went on, and MMD, they could have been a very good source for Free Time Hobbies as well. Once upon a time, they were. Free Time, we used to buy quite a bit from MMD when they were in Texas. So some things were arranged, and those non-compete agreements were handled, I guess we'll say. And but Russ did not necessarily want to work for Chris, but rather he offered to buy the company from him and said, "Hey, I'll buy MMD, I'll move it to Georgia here, and I'll run that, and I can sell to you, I can sell to Free Time, and hopefully I can get back and sell to all the other hobby shops that used to buy from MMD." So that's kind of what happened, and that was in the summer of 2021, summer of last year. And so, I've got 3 kids, and when I take the grandkids over to see Grandpa and Grandma, Dad's talking about selling models. And this is what I did for many, many years back with Free Time. And I don't know, I guess you could say I got the itch to get back in. So Chris was running Squadron down in Atlanta. Dad was selling to him and starting to sell to more and more people. And so I called Chris. I said, "Hey, I'd really like the opportunity to buy Squadron. Basically everything you didn't sell, Dad, I'd love to arrange a way to buy that from you." And we worked that out. And I bought Squadron. I bought all the trademarks, all the brands that they owned, all that kind of stuff. And Chris still runs his business in Atlanta. Uh, he still buys from MMD. It's all kind of good. And then earlier this year, we kind of found out that Free Time Hobbies may be for sale, or perhaps could be for sale. And we talked about that for a while. Went back and forth with Thompson a little bit, and he was interested in some other things. So he decided, hey, that might work out. And just a few weeks ago, actually, we pulled a deal together, got that done, and now we have moved Free Time Hobbies back to Georgia yet again. And all of that inventory from there literally just showed up last week, and it's our warehouse is kind of a mess right now, but we've been going through that, and we're hoping to have all of that back in stock on the Free Time Hobbies website, hopefully after this weekend. And all of that, there's a lot of products that Free Time had, like this Verifier stuff, and several other things that Squadron that we didn't have before, but going forward, we'll also offer those brands over at Squadron. And I see this question from Hogan's fam. What is your plans with Free Time Hobbies? I don't have a exact answer for that right now because it is so new. But the plan, if I had to answer that question right now, is it's going to be two different websites, Squadron and Free Time's websites. They have their set of unique customers, I guess you could say. There's certainly a lot of people that know both, that would certainly shop from either. But there's a lot of customers out there that that know Squadron that don't know Free Time. There's a lot of customers that shop from Squadron that don't shop at or shop at Free Time that don't shop at Squadron. So we're going to keep it two separate websites, but everything will be fulfilled out of one warehouse in Georgia. Um, and we'll just see how it goes. I may change my mind. We might do something different going forward, but right now that's the plan. We do have a few changes coming to the Free Time Hobbies website soon, as soon as we can get everything inventoried and get everything set up. But we'll just see. We're kind of making it up a day at the time, and as we go. So we'll see. We'll see what we do with it. Um, let's see. Let me look in the live chat here and see what we've got going on. Lots of guys. Hey, everybody. Glad that you're here. I'm looking forward to doing this. Um, let's see. Yeah, Arnell, thank you. I really appreciate that. Hey, Gary, nice to see you. Nice to see everybody here. Um, yeah, and this is pretty cool. So ever since we got Squadron and I started taking the phone calls here, I get so many people talking about the original Squadron shops, and I never got to visit one. I was born in '85, so I'm kind of young, I guess you could say, compared to some of the customers that got to go to those original Squadron shops. And it's pretty neat getting to talk to some of these old customers. And I've heard so many stories about those Squadron shops, and wish I could have seen them. We're hoping to do something here. It won't be a Squadron shop like it used to be back then, but we're hoping to do something and set up something and put a Squadron shop logo on it. Perhaps have it, I don't know. Uh, they had an open house out in Texas once a year. Maybe we'll do something like that. Call it the Squadron Shop. I don't know. We'll see how it goes, and like I said, making it up as we go. Um, let's see. Yep, he remembers it. Let's see. Loves your Free Time Hobbies retail store in Blue Ridge. Yeah, it was a lot of fun having that store. Like I said, just and that giant that stood out front when we moved down to Ellijay, which is 10 miles south of Blue Ridge. The company that bought the building is a dentist, so they kept the giant out front. But instead of holding a P51, he holds a giant toothbrush now. So if you happen to be driving by, uh, you can still see him, but instead of red with a P51, he is blue with a giant toothbrush now. So it's pretty neat that we still get to drive up the road and see that. So let's see. Jeff, would you consider opening a hobby store? So we have so much going on right now, and perhaps next week. I don't know if I'll get a chance today, but we'll see. I'll walk out in the warehouse and let you see everything. It's such a mess right now. But we are hoping that next year sometime, I don't have any dates on this, we're hoping to have an open house. I don't know how often. maybe once a year, maybe once a quarter, maybe once a month. I don't know. Um, it was a lot of fun having our own hobby store, retail hobby store, and I want to do that. I enjoy the experience. I enjoy it for myself because I like going in hobby stores. So it's pretty cool getting to walk into a store for work every day. But I also enjoy letting customers be able to come and have the experience of being in a hobby store, even if ours ends up a little bit more of a warehouse feel. Um, but it would still be cool to have you guys be able to come in and see everything. So we're just trying to work out exactly what that's going to look like. I mean, honestly, right now, um, the warehouse, we've got extension cords run everywhere for lights, and we're still working with the county to get the fire marshal to approve for even letting people come in. We're approved to do business, obviously, but we're working on all the other requirements to allow customers back there, and we want to do it. So we'll see. Um, let's see, Sean, any ETA on the Atlantis? Well, as you can see over here to my left, they do exist, and I'll pop that box open in a minute, and we'll take a look at it. So what happened with those is they were filling the container up with those, and we have a few other things coming as well. And got to the end of the container, and they didn't all fit. And instead of postponing the ones that didn't fit, we just decided to have them fly those over. So we got a very small shipment of them a week or two ago. I forget exactly when it was. A week or two ago, and we shipped all of those out to customers already. That we just kind of try to do it in the order that the pre-orders came in. Um, but the container that the rest of them are on is on the water, and fingers crossed, it will show up by the end of the year. I've just knowing how shipping goes these days and customs and all that kind of stuff. I've got a feeling it'll probably be after the first of the year, hopefully the first or second week of January. But we'll see. But they are coming and they do exist, and we're pretty excited about them. Um, so let's see. Douglas, original Squadron shop customer. That's awesome. There's so many, like I said, there's so many customers that I've talked to that talk about going back to those original shops and ordering ever since then. And it's funny too, the Squadron customer numbers. It's really neat for me to get to talk to some of the older customers that are pretty excited that they have such a low customer number. So they're kind of proud of that, and I'm excited. I'm glad for it, and glad to have the customers now that were customers way back then. Had a customer just a couple of days ago talking about he placed his first order with Squadron when he was 8 years old. So I've got a 10-year-old and a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old. But I told my 6 and 10-year-old, I said, hey, can you imagine grabbing a catalog and calling up and placing an order out of it? And they just looked at me like, what are you talking about? I said, this is, and I showed them, this is our latest, the Squadron Flyer catalog. I know it's short, but this is the one we did. I told him, I said, you didn't have the internet. You used to take this catalog, you would find what you want, and you could, write down what you want and send it in the mail. And so it's a lot of fun, a lot of nostalgia, I guess we can say. So, um, the P-51 that the Giant held, I don't know. Oh, I know what happened to it. It went to the trash because I think at least twice, maybe 3 times, a storm came through and broke it. I know we replaced it once. It was one of those styrofoam ones, and every time a big storm would come through, it would snap it in half. Where the guy's hand was, we had to wedge the styrofoam through his hand, so it was kind of creased. And every time a storm would come, it would snap it. And so we replaced it at least twice, maybe 3 times. And after we knew that we were going to be moving and selling the building, I think the Giant stood without anything in his hand for, a couple of months at least. So, but I've got pictures. I'll try to find a picture of that and show it to you here in just a second. Let's see. Weekend of the Atlanta IPMS would be a great time for an open house. I do agree with you. The only problem is I am hoping I'm going to be at that IPMS show. Um, we'll see. But that would be a nice time. I don't know if we'll be ready by then. Again, it's up to me a little bit, but it's more so up to the fire marshal. So as soon as he gives us the go ahead, I will be pretty excited about planning a date for that. Um, let's see. Always bought from the free time guys whenever I saw. Yeah, um, we appreciate that. Let's see. Yeah, this is pretty interesting. Um, the if you're talking about the same thing I'm thinking about, I'll have to show those in one of our future streams. So the some more parts of the how did we get here story is when Chris bought what he bought from the auction in Texas, it wasn't everything. There were lots of different lots sold off, lots of inventory, lots of uh, shelves, racks. You know, I don't know. You can imagine everything that would be in a warehouse had to be auctioned off. Everything from pallet jacks to desks to computers to all that stuff. And what Chris got and what we have now is was all the what they called intangibles, the website, the customer list, all the business basically. We didn't get any of the inventory except for um, on the manufacturing side, some of the tools and some of that kind of things that Squadron produced. We got some of that. But one of the big pieces of the puzzle that he did not get was Squadron Signal Publications. And a man named Lee Leibold got that. And I've become good friends with Lee since then. And in talking with him, the main thing that he was interested in was not actually publishing books. He went to the auction to buy the original artwork. And when he got there, he placed his bids, won all the artwork, and then found out that the publishing rights and all the books for Squadron Signal had actually been pulled out of and was separate to then Squadron and MMD and all that. So he purchased all that. Well, I guess it was February or March this year. We ended up buying that too. So we ended up getting that, and let me pop this up on the screen. Let's see. Oh, it's already on the screen. Uh, yeah. So after we did that, we went ahead and started doing some books. We got with author David Doyle and we released a F-18, FA-18 Hornet book and Super Hornet. Followed up with the F-14 that you see there, F-111 Aardvark, and of course the B-25 Detail in Action. We did those. And all of these, let me put this over here. All of these that you see, these are all prints of the front and back covers of the books that we're doing so far. And I've had a lot of customers ask if we're going to make those available. And let's see, the one that most people are asking about is this one. This is, let's see, let's get it in the frame there. That is the rear cover of our B-25 Detail in Action book. And the picture right above that is the front cover of it. And just, it really turned out great. And let me show you where this came from. Let's see. So this is, let me see if I can do it. This is my first time using this streaming software, by the way, so you've got to bear with me a moment. Let's see. All right, we'll do that in a second. Let me answer the question directly, Joe. The line drawings. When we bought the stuff from Lee Leibold, we got all of that too. A lot of those old line drawings are in there. I've got them in binders and in boxes, and they're really neat. And I really want to go through them and show those off sometime. So perhaps what you remember as a little boy, maybe I've got some of that artwork here, and we can check it out later. It'll be pretty cool. We'll check it out. So we're talking about the front covers of these, talking about cover art for books. I've got to point something out that Douglas just pointed out, and this. So Don Greer, he was the artist, or one of the artists, for Squadron Signal for a very long time. He did, I don't know the exact number, but he did a large majority of the cover artwork for the Squadron Signal books, and he passed away recently. Um, and a lot of that original artwork, I don't know how much still is there. You'd have to ask Lee, but Lee does have a lot of his original artwork still for sale. I don't know what's still available, but if you were ever interested in having a piece of Don's original artwork, contact Lee while it's still available. I don't have any here. I got to get with Lee and get a piece of that because it would be nice to have here. Um, I did not ever personally meet Don, uh, but just with talking with customers, talking with other people about the history of Squadron, he was a super guy, and he will be missed. So just needed to bring that out. But anyway, so the cover art here is not painted. It's not drawn. It's computerized. It's 3D rendered. And I've become real good friends with the artist that does these. His name is Peter. And Peter, forgive me if that's not how you actually pronounce your name, but that's how we say it here in Georgia. So let me show you his website. He does an excellent job at doing this kind of thing. So let's move that. Let's do. He did the fall 2022 flyer that I talked about. And if you didn't get one of these, send me an email because I've only got a few left. Info@squadron.com, and let me know you'd like one. Um, so, like I said, only a few left. We did that, and there's also a link to a digital version on our website. But what a lot of people are asking for, and what I personally want, is something like this. They used to do a almost 500 page. I think this one was 470. I don't know, somewhere in that ballpark. Full length catalog. This is 2010. Pretty sure I know they did a 2011. Not 100% sure if they did one after that. But this is what I'm getting a lot of requests for. Now, as you can imagine, something like this is not cheap to make. And making one of these wasn't free, we certainly had to pay for that too, but we wanted to send this out to a lot of people to let everybody know we're back. I did a write up on the front, on the first page, that kind of telling the story I told a little while ago. But interestingly enough, when I wrote this, we had not bought Free Time yet, so I guess we're adding to the story every day. But we want to do the 500-page catalog for next year for a 2023 product guide, and we're going to sell them, but we can't give those away. That's kind of where I'm getting to there. But what we're going to do kind of like a subscription, I guess you could say, for 2023. And what that's going to include is this 500-page catalog, printed physical catalog that we are hoping to have ready at the end of February. And then what else that will include will be any flyers that we print throughout the year that include things that were done after we printed the 500-page catalog, and we will do at least one or two of those. So anyway, but Peter's working on the front cover of that catalog. It's going to be pretty neat. So stay tuned for that. We'll have information for that coming out in email soon, and you'll just see how that goes. So let's see what we've got over here in the chat. Are you planning to produce the walk around or on deck? Yes, we would like to. It's just a matter of getting to it. We've got a few books in progress right now, and we'll just see how it goes. No definite answer on when any particular books are coming, but we'll see. Yep. Yeah, those, and I think that may be what I have back there. So I'll pull those out soon, and we'll check those out. The Squadron Honda boot, yes, they are available now. This is what they look like now, and it still comes with one of those nice sleeves, and then of course the box there. So those are in stock, and they are shipping now. We've got those, and we produced brass or metal brass barrels for it, and it replaces the main guns and the guns in the dome turret, the rotating turrets on the bottom. So you can check that out too. And all the when Squadron originally issued that kit, they had several versions of it that included different resin upgrades. We're going to offer those resin upgrades as well, but we're going to offer those as aftermarket accessories, so you can pick and choose, buy what you want. So basically, you buy this kit and then buy whichever accessories that you want for it. You can do the civilian version that they had done up, or whatever you want to do. We'll offer those, and we'll have those hopefully done soon. So I did want to show you a couple of kits that have come in this week. Let's see if I can get this over here, and we'll wrap this up here in just a few minutes and do something again next week. So what came in today that was I didn't realize was going to be here, we got a heck of a lot of modeling magazines. We've got the new Air Modeler 105 that just showed up, and all these are on the front page of the website at squadron.com. A lot of these, so because these magazines are printed overseas, sometimes we don't get them the minute they come out. So, and what I mean by that is, like, let's see, where's it at? These are all out of order. To me, modeling magazine. We just got November and December's issue in today. So, there you go. And same thing with, let's see. We got two versions, the November and December of Military Illustrated Modeler. Both of those showed up today. Let's see. We got, and this is interesting, got the December and the January 2023 issues of Model Military International. So those are available now. And then Model Military International, it's like tongue-tied here. Let's see, November and December for those issues. So got all that in. Those are available. My guys out in the warehouse wanted me to make sure everybody knows that the Star Wars Mandalorian kit, they're in stock. They came out. It's a good kit. And you've probably, if you're on our email newsletter, you've seen me talking about this X Plus brand lately. and it's a pretty cool company. They are the owner of that company is a big fan of the old style. Let's see. Uh-oh. Sound went out. I bet the sound went out because I moved myself from and was just going to show that. So sorry about that. I was over there, so I didn't realize that the audio was out. Well, if you saw what I was showing, you can imagine what I was saying. So all those kits are available now. Um, Again, this was my first stream and got a lot of learning to do, I guess you could say. But I'm excited about it. I want to do this each week and and see how it goes. Oh, check this out. There's Chris Decker there. Yeah, I was talking about you a little while ago, Chris, telling everybody about the history of how long we've known each other. So that was a lot of fun. So one of these days I'll have Chris on the show and we'll talk about the history of resin ship modeling because I know a lot of people involved in that. So we'll do that at some point soon. So. Let's see. I'm going to answer a few more of these questions in the chat. If you got any questions, ask me now because we'll go ahead and bring this to a close in a few minutes. I don't want to drag it out. Um, let's see. Ken says, is there somewhere I can read about what happened to free time? Not yet, but soon. We're working on a full history of everything that either Russ or myself have been involved in the hobby world. So we'll have that up sometime. Let's see. Catalog is a great idea. Yes, I hope that you will be able to look up products easily. I'm in the process of laying that out. I'm doing the catalog layout myself. So if it's not easy to look up, it's my fault. So I'll do my best for you. Let's see. Nice to have a paper catalog again. Yeah, it's. I mean, the internet is cool. You can certainly. I mean, it's up to speed instantly. We got our website, and I just added those magazines that came in today. They're here now. But like you said, the paper books is pretty neat. It's fun to have it to just sit around and keep on your model desk and refer to anytime. So let's see. Audio is out. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Let's see. We've got James. We've got a lot of things that we don't have yet that we want to have, and 144 scale has. I've been getting a lot of questions about that lately, both in aircraft and in armor. So that is something that we're going to look at, trying to expand into that scale. And I've got a lot of. I don't know that much myself about the various scales for wargaming, but I'm getting a lot of customers asking for different wargaming scales for mostly armor, but aircraft as well. So we're going to look into all that. We've got a lot going on that we've got to get our hands on first, and then we'll expand from there. So we'll see how it goes. Let's see. Price on the Rodin Savage. So let's see. I don't want to say it wrong, so we'll just check the website, see what we got. Those are $69.95 right now, and they are in stock. So you can get one of those on order this evening, and we'll ship it out to you tomorrow. Let's see. I guess the Cyclops kit. Yeah, they're doing all of their kits like um, the old Aurora kits, and they've got several kits so far. They started out with this Vampirilla kit, and then they did a glow in the dark version of the same kit. They released this Maria from the Metropolis movie. released the Cyclops, and then their next release is the Jose Gonzalez artwork version of their Vampirella kit. So they got a lot going on. They've got some really cool kits that they are planning for next year. One in particular that I'm really excited about, and I'm hoping to have those guys in Japan on one of my shows in the future, and we're gonna unveil that kit together. It's gonna be cool. It's still a figure kit, but it fits what Squadron is most known for selling in the military world. So it'll be cool. We'll see how it goes. Let's see. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well, Chris. It'll be a fun time. Let's see. Yeah, thank you, Joe. I look forward to it as well. Let's see. Mark, updating or increasing the variety of gold medal. Okay, yeah, that I guess we still buy up companies because we earlier this year bought gold medal models. Lauren Perry was a been a friend of mine for a long time, and we used to sell a lot of his photo etch back with free time. And I told him many years ago, I said, Lauren, one day you're going to get ready to retire. And when you do, I would love the opportunity to buy the business from you. And that happened earlier this year. And but as far as updating the inventory for gold medal, we are at the mercy of the supplier or the manufacturer that produces that etch, and they are pretty backed up right now. We actually did just a couple of days ago finally got a very small order from them. I don't even know what's in there yet. I'm hoping to get into that later this week, and or well, it may be beginning of next week at this point. But we've got a few restocks from them, and they promised me that the other restocks are on the way. They everything that Lauren did, for the most part, we're bringing back or restocking, if you will. There's a couple of them that I think are gone for good that just didn't make sense to bring back. And then as far as adding to the line, yes, we actually have. We've got some decals that we're working on for the gold medal line. We've got some new photo etch that we are working on, and we actually are also working on some 3D printed stuff. Every Seems like everybody's getting into 3D printing these days, and I guess we're jumping on the bandwagon. Back when we started Blue Ridge Models, we started doing some 3D printed stuff, and we're bringing all that back too. The website over at Freetime currently shows all that stuff out of stock. It's because we're counting the inventory. Hopefully, we'll have it back in stock soon, and then it'll show up on Squadron, and we're going to expand that line. We're going to start at a whole new line for gold medal for 3D printing, and then, of course, we've got some new photo etch that we're doing as well. And just so you know, the way that you will know if a gold medal item is something that Lauren produced himself, or if it's something that I have produced that Lauren didn't have a part in. Let me show you the difference here. Okay, so here's Lauren's logo. If you see this logo on a product, then you know that it was Lauren's. He did it himself. If you see this logo on a product, you know it was something that we made after Lauren. And the difference being it has his name on it or not. And the reason I'm doing that is because Lauren was excellent at what he did, and in many ways I consider him to be one of the best, if not the best, at drawing photo etch. I do not consider myself to be as good as him, and I don't want any of my products to have his name on it. Granted, they're going to have the gold medal model's name on it, but I don't want it. I don't want to make something and have it say Lauren Perry. So I hope I can make good products. I think I can. I'm pretty sure, but it won't be Lauren's hands that did it. So just one of those small things that, it might not matter to you, but it matters to me. So if you see Lauren's name on it, you know it was something he did. If his name's not above the gold medal, then you know it was something that was produced after Lauren was not involved anymore. So just there you go. There's that. How many employees do I have? Two. If I counted correctly, there are 8 that are physically here, and then I've got another half a dozen to 10 freelance guys that work from their house, which is apparently pretty common these days. So um, I think that is correct, and we're looking for more. So we'll see how that goes. We when you see the warehouse back there, the running joke around here is we are expanding as quickly as our landlord will move his personal belongings out of the space that he's renting to us. And we knew we wanted to rent this warehouse, and but we knew the landlord, and he said, "Hey, you've got all this space. Will you rent it to us?" And he said, "Well, all my stuff's in the way." I said, "Well, how about you move a little bit, and we'll rent space as you clean it out." And it really worked out good for us because when we moved Squadron 2 here, like I've said before, there was no inventory that moved from Texas to Georgia. So we started with nothing. So that worked out great for us. Rent was small, and as inventory started coming in, the landlord was able to move stuff out at about the same rate that we needed it. And with the buy of free time hobbies, we kind of had to tell him he's got to hurry up, get us some more space. So, but that's working, and so we're adding employees and space as quickly as we can and as we need it. So, let's see. Yeah, it is the wargaming stuff, and that's the really cool thing about the wargaming is a lot of those guys, they don't call them model kits necessarily. They're wargaming miniatures or whatever. But to me, it's still a model kit. If you have to glue it together and paint it, it's a model, and it's really good for hobby business, for hobby shops, for us. Buy those. You still got to buy paint. You got to buy glue. So it's pretty neat. How do I get the newest catalog? So if you want to get one of these that I still have a few of left, send me an email at info@squadron.com and give me your address and we'll send you one. This one is free until they're gone. And then starting with the new catalog for 2023, we are going to have to charge for that. But if you want one of those, just let me know in that same email and we will reach out to you and let you know the price on it. When it's ready. And just because everybody probably wants to know how much it's going to be, it's going to start with a 2. I don't know if it's going to be 20 or 29, but it's going to be somewhere between those two numbers, and we're just trying to get it as cheap as we possibly can. It's crazy how much it costs to print something these days, but we'll do what we can for that. Convince Verifier to come out with a Colorado or Tennessee. I would love that. And honestly, we do have a lot of plans, a lot of ideas myself for ship kits and other not ship kits that we will try to convince certain manufacturers that we work closely with to do. And those would certainly be great ships. So, let's see. Thank you, Ken. Thank you, James. Let's see. Yeah, the 156th scale. That's the scale I couldn't think of a moment ago. Yeah, that and the weird thing about it for me is all the manufacturers that make that particular scale of kits, I've never heard of them. So I'm doing my research and trying to learn about those manufacturers and see what we can do. So it's pretty interesting. So we'll see. All right, we've got a couple more comments in the chat, and then I'm going to bring this thing to an end. I wanted to keep this under an hour. So let's see. Yeah, Mark, I appreciate that. Let's see. Thank you, Matt. Yeah, the pewter stuff, the metal kits, yep. The Lexington class, that was actually something we were considering doing with the Blue Ridge models back when we were doing resin kits, and that may be something to look at. It was a pretty cool concept. I'm a big fan of the what if stuff, and that would certainly fit the bill. So, suggestion box. Just email me info@squadron.com and let me know what you're thinking, and we'll look at it. So, all right, guys. Well, I really appreciate it. This was a lot of fun. I'm hoping to do this more and more often. The next stream, I'll probably get on here Monday or Tuesday and show you the new F-35A from Tamiya. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool kit, and we're just about sold out. I have a handful of them left. So if you haven't ordered one yet, go over to the website and place an order because they will be sold out by the time they. The, Tamiya has set a release date of December 9th, so I cannot ship them until December 9th. But if you get your pre-order in, yours will go on the UPS truck or the post office truck on the 9th. But they will be sold out before the 9th. So if you haven't ordered one, make sure you do so pretty quick. But I'll probably pop on here Monday or Tuesday and show you that kit because I'm excited about it. And then sometime next week, I don't know exactly what day yet, I'll send an email out and show you. I'm going to have a couple of my good friends on here with me, and we're going to go through this Atlanta kit from Verifier and see what the difference between the standard and the deluxe version is. And we're going to take a look at that compared to the old resin kits and just see what you get. And we'll go from there. So let's see. That's going to be it for today, guys. I really appreciate it. I'll see you next time. Have a great evening.